I was just 13 years old when I played the original arcade version of Shinobi. It was released in North America in 1988 and was developed in-house by Sega for their System 16 arcade technology. It spun a gripping adventure about a terrorist organization called Zed and the war it waged on the Oboro Ninja Clan. You played as Joe Musashi, the clan's last hope to rescue its children and stop Zed's nefarious plans. Seeing the action in that game play out across the soft glow of an arcade screen is a defining moment for me and my love of Sega in general. It was everything that was right and good about video games. It gave me a chance to live out my fantasies as a fearless hero, trying to do right by his friends and family. But as good as the original Shinobi had been, it wasn't the last time we'd see Sega take on the ninja theme. Over a dozen sequels and spin-offs would appear in its nearly 40-year history, some of which can easily be argued as being among the best games of their day. Unfortunately, Shinobi has been on hiatus for the past 14 years, its last entry showing up on the Nintendo 3DS in 2011. It's been a long wait, but finally Sega has announced that a brand new game will appear on August 29, 2025, Shinobi Art of Vengeance. In this episode, we will go down the unforgettable lineup of Shinobi titles and cover why this great franchise meant so much to me. Plus, we will talk about the brand new game in the series and its many features that may interest you. I hope you guys enjoy Back with a Vengeance, Shinobi, the Games and the Legacy. Sega's first Shinobi showed up in Japanese arcades in late 1987 and everywhere else the following year. Developed by Sega R&D 1, which included members that would go on to work on games like Altered Beast, Golden Axe, and even Sonic the Hedgehog, it was a basic walk-and gun where your job was to rescue your clan's children from the evil Zed organization. As the ninja Joe Musashi, you'll make your way across numerous environments like city slums, a shipyard, mountains, and of course no ninja video game would be complete without a castle to storm. Enemies are numerous and timing is the key to survival. You throw stars as your basic attack and you have melee maneuvers should you have need. There is a power-up from rescued hostages that turn your stars into bullets, and your melee attack upgrades to a sword. 3 ninjutsu spells are also available, a thunderstorm, tornado, and replicator that allows you to attack every enemy on the screen. Stages have multiple layers to fight on and you can jump up and down to advance the stage or to avoid enemies. I adored this upon its release because it was one of those arcade games that a single credit could get you a handful of stages, a super cool bonus round of ninja jumping at you, and a boss fight, even if you weren't that good. Don't go thinking that it was easy though. It only takes a single hit to kill you, the late game throws a ton at you, and the final stretch cannot be continued should you lose all of your lives. This was ported to numerous consoles and computers, and you've likely played one of them at one time or another. It's a classic and a start of something special. Shinobi's success led to another game in its mold released in 1989 called Shadow Dancer. Though the arcade story doesn't mention Joe Musashi directly, the flyer does say Shinobi returns in this new adventure. This time more terrorists are doing bad things and have set up bombs across the city, and you need to find them. Most of the gameplay in this one remains very similar to the original Shinobi, but now you have a trusty K9 sidekick to help you out. This new partner is essentially a gameplay mechanic that allows you to subdue enemies at distance, so you can move in for the final blow. Sega R&D 1 was again at the helm, and it was done on the System 18 hardware. It saw a pretty big uptick in graphics, particularly when it comes to the stages themselves. Home conversions were aplenty, but Sega had other ideas for its home console, the Genesis. In 1989, Sega R&D 6 created a direct sequel to the arcade Shinobi called The Revenge of Shinobi for its home console, the Genesis. This was a major advancement of Shinobi's gameplay and story in every imaginable way. The evil terrorists from the first game have returned, reformed into the more powerful Neo-Zed. This time your village is attacked, your teacher killed, and your wife-to-be kidnapped. The only choice left for Joe Musashi is to go after her and exact justice on those that have wronged him. The gameplay itself remains very similar to the first. Here you get throwing knives and melee attacks to dispatch your foes, but there is also selectable ninjutsu spells that give you another level of strategy. The Thunder Shield allows you to take multiple hits of damage without affecting your life bar. The Fire Dragon fills the screen and hurts everything it touches. The art of floating allows Joe to jump higher and further to reach areas much more easily. The final spell is a self-sacrificing explosion that hits everything on the screen, taking one of your lives with it. It's great if you are about to take a death and don't want to lose your progress on a stage or boss fight. One of the biggest changes is the way the stages are designed. Here they are far larger, more vertical, and with many more dangers to deal with. You aren't just facing the enemies, but the stage itself is often just as deadly. This is not an easy game. The music was composed by the legendary Yuzo Koshiro and really adds to the experience. No kidding, it would not be the same without it. The different endings you can get have a huge emotional impact and was one of the first games I ever played to accomplish that. As good as Shinobi had been in the arcades, his Genesis adventure was next level incredible. A year after The Revenge of Shinobi, Sega R&D 9 created the exclusive for the Genesis called Shadow Dancer: The Secret of Shinobi. There is very little here that is based on the arcade game. The dog and its gameplay mechanics return, but everything else, the enemies, most of the bosses, and the stages, see major revisions and changes all the way around. Even the bonus stages see big changes. These differences make it feel like an entirely different adventure, and I would argue Sega made the right move in doing so. Its only real shortcoming is literally just that. It's a very small game with short stages, leaving you wanting more, especially after The Revenge of Shinobi had significantly more content. The story here also changes region to region. In Japan, Joe Musashi is not the hero, it's his son, but in North America, you play as Joe himself. These story changes extend to the home versions of the arcade as well, often changing details on who you play as and the people around them. "1991 was a strange year for the Shinobi franchise. Just 4 months in, we got one of the very best games in the series, and one of the most controversial, both by Sega R&D 2. The first, called the Cyber Shinobi for the Sega Master System, was positioned as a sequel to the original Master System arcade port. This was set in the future a ways where the grandson of Joe Musashi is having to deal with the Cyber Zed and their mission to start a nuclear war. The gameplay was choppy and the visuals hurt by a massive information panel. The lone standout to this one was the music, but that wasn't strong enough on its own to earn this one its namesake. It continues to be a hot topic of debate all these years later. While the Cyber Shinobi was causing a stir on the Master System in 1991, Sega R&D 2 also released Shinobi for for the new portable Game Gear. And boy did this one right the ship and get the series back on track. Unlike the previous titles, this is a platform adventure where you can take on the stages in any order. The Oboro Ninja Clan sends scouts to face a new threat in Neo City, and each one is captured. And when things get tough, the only choice left is to send in Joe Musashi to get the job done. As you rescue your fellow ninja, you gain the ability to use their skills and techniques. Switching between partners, you gained weapons like throwing stars, bombs, and even a powerful blast of energy from your hands. You get abilities like walking on water, climbing on ceilings, and swinging on a grappling hook. Each member also has their own spells that range from turning into tornadoes to stunning enemies. This changes things up quite a bit, and each area has hidden items that benefit from having the right ability at the right time. Once you get to the final stage, you'll need your entire team to get past the onslaught of merciless traps. Just about the entire trip in this oozed that Sega quality, and it was firing on all cylinders. The visuals were top of the class for a portable release, Yuzo Koshiro was back for the music, and it played smooth as silk. As far as portable games, it was incredible, and Sega knew it needed another one pronto. In 1992, Sega was back with a sequel to the Game Gear title called Shinobi II: The Silent Fury. Neo City is once again under siege, this time by the evil Black Ninja. He has stolen the elemental crystals and kidnapped their guardians. Joe Musashi returns to set things right. Sega CS2 did not stray far from the original blueprint, and again they nailed a fantastic portable experience. You get the same great design of rescuing ninja and gaining their abilities. You'll get 5 ninja in total to take down 5 different areas of the city. The visuals are even better. Yuzo Koshiro and Motohiro Kawashima did the music, and it's got an epic final stage that's gonna challenge every new ability you've acquired. It's less a sequel and more like a second half of an already killer experience. But as good as it was, Sega was yet to elevate Shinobi to its ultimate form. In 1993 was the year Sega let loose Shinobi III: Return of the Ninja Master. This took the Revenge of Shinobi and improved every mechanic that made that game so great. You can now block on command, dash, jump kick, wall jump, and so much more. Your spells are back, there's massive bosses to face, and the stages are every bit a pain as the enemies. Along with the great new gameplay comes new graphics and sound that really enhance the overall product. The variety is unreal for an arcade-like action game. You'll battle across forests, caves, biological labs, and falling rocks. Oodles of parallax scrolling fill the backdrops. The art direction is the best in the series, and the stage design is up there with the best of that generation. Bringing all of that together is the unforgettable soundtrack, which is some of the best FM music I've ever heard on any platform. The Sega Genesis had already given us 2 great games in the series when this came out, but this one was something else entirely. In 1995 was a year of great transition. 3-dimensional polygons were making a big impact on the industry, but when Shin Shinobi made its way to the Sega Saturn, it was still a classic 2-dimensional side-scrolling action game. Sega worked with Tosi Software to develop the live-action cinematics and digitized visuals of this one. it focuses on many of the gameplay elements of the previous 16-bit titles. You have throwing knives, melee attacks, double jumps, ninjutsu, and a dash at your disposal. It ditches Joe Musashi as the hero and instead focuses on Sho and his power struggle with his brother Kazuma. It played well, but I have to say those digitized graphics were legitimately tough to adjust to, especially since the Saturn could paint such a pretty picture with two-dimensional images. Along with a name change for the Western markets, the PAL version, called Shinobi X, also received a completely different soundtrack. The North American release, known here as Shinobi Legions, retains the original Japanese score. It played similar to the 16-bit games, but it also played it safe at a time when the series needed genuine advancement. The Shinobi franchise sat idle for 7 years before it saw another one in late 2002. Sega handed off the responsibility to 3D6 Games to bring the series back to life, and things didn't exactly go as planned. The Revenge of Shinobi for the Game Boy Advance may share a name with a great Genesis title, but its association begins and ends right there. It uses unattractive pre-rendered visuals, the gameplay is slow and clunky, and it's missing the great soundtrack the series was known for. The less said about this one, the better. Luckily, 2002 had more Shinobi to give, this time on the PlayStation 2, courtesy of Overworks. Things turned out so much better here in what was Shinobi's first fully three-dimensional adventure. It follows the story of two brothers from the Oboro clan as Tokyo is under attack from an evil sorcerer. Demons are loose all over the city and you have to stop them from advancing. Lots of hack and slash combos, spells, and exploration await you in this one, and it was a very good first effort to bring the series into the modern era. You must be careful, however, because the sword you wield has an insatiable appetite for souls, and if you don't feed it, it begins to devour yours. This adds an air of desperation to the gameplay, and you'll want to engage your foes and dispatch them as often and as quickly as possible. The third-person camera follows the action well, the graphics are dark and apocalyptic, and I greatly enjoyed the sound design. With the fundamentals in place, Sega turned around a sequel to Shinobi called Nightshade the following year, also on the PlayStation 2. This is a direct sequel that follows a female ninja called Hibana, who must once again face the demons that are unleashed on Tokyo. The core game is pretty much what we saw in Shinobi, but there is a much greater focus on environmental dangers, especially pit deaths. The Tate combo system from before returns with a newfound focus on dashing to hit multiple enemies over insta-deaths. This makes Nightshade an often brutally difficult game that doesn't show much mercy on those that play casually. Both these games should have been the start of a great new run for the franchise, but we didn't see another one until 2011 when we got Shinobi 3D for the Nintendo 3DS. This 2.5D adventure reboots the franchise and traces the origin of Joe Musashi's adventure back to his father. It includes aliens, time travel, and an ending that undoes the original story entirely. And that was the very last time we'd see Shinobi until 2025. On August 29th, 2025, Shinobi Art of Vengeance will be released on the Nintendo Switch, PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, plus the PlayStation 4 and 5. It's being developed by Lizard Cube, the makers of Streets of Rage 4 and the remake of Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap. In this new adventure, Joe Musashi returns and is looking for payback. His village has been attacked and his clan turned to stone. Facing the unknown, the Shinobi once again seeks to stop those hell-bent on world domination. The trailer for this one indicated numerous throwbacks related to many of the previous games in the series. So far, we've seen Joe riding his wolf dog companion Yamato, some screen-filling ninjutsu to toast your enemies, and a stage design that any Sega fan should recognize and be excited about. There also appears to be a heavy emphasis on fast attacks that link together to form some pretty potent combos. Running, air dashing, kicks, and kunai all look to play a part in the many different ways you can deal with the enemy. There even appears to be a number of tools to assist Shinobi in getting around the harsh environments, leading to different paths and areas to explore. Those areas range from military bases to vast deserts, each one with challenging platform puzzles and secrets to discover. You can also find and equip amulets that enhance your abilities. Visually, the animation looks incredible, and I love the layering and depth in the backgrounds. Whether you love the series in its old form, or you are a younger player that's curious, the reveal trailer definitely captures the spirit of this once great franchise. To say I'm excited would be an understatement, and August can't come soon enough. I hope you guys enjoyed this look at the Shinobi franchise and my thoughts on the trailer for the new game releasing in just 5 months. If you are interested in Shinobi Art of Vengeance, there will be a digital standard edition as well as a digital deluxe edition, the latter of which gives you some extra digital content plus access to the game 3 days early. For you folks that prefer physical copies, there will be those available as well. You'll find a link in the description for more information. I'm unbelievably optimistic about Sega's reinvention of many of its classic IPs. Between this and the other products they have in development, things are shaping up to be a great time to be a Sega fan. If Shinobi Art of Vengeance is any indication, things appear to be in good hands. I'm Sega Lord X. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you next time.